Trump is very much surrounding himself, at least with the white power people. And we are not white, as you can see.
Marco Rubio.
We are of color. And so we know our rights probably would be taken away.
So a couple of things there. Did she just say that the Alaskan natives, that America took their land from them? Is that what she said?
Yes. The natives.
Yeah, the natives. Yeah. She's aware that it was a land purchase from Russia, right? You guys want to take your chance with the Russians? A place for which I have decreasing respect. Greenland. And what do I mean by that? I mean the country, I mean how it's run, I mean the people, I mean in general. Which I know it will not go over well with the 55,000 people of Greenland. But
56,000?
56,000. But it is such an insignificant market share that I will be honest, Greenlanders, I don't take it into account.
They have less people in their country than are watching this show right now.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Well, there's probably a little overlap. There's probably some Greenlanders watching.
There are probably a couple. Someone right there having their breakfast of reconstituted fish fat soup in the coldest climate on Earth.
Trying to eat my fish head soup.
Lacking vitamin D, lighting their lamp with whale oil. Okay. I'm sorry, Greenland, you've been through enough, but we're going to put you through more. So before we get into the ins and outs of Greenland, I think a lot of people may not be familiar with the history there, which is why they always try and paint the United States as, for some reason, unique in wanting to position ourselves as best as possible globally. Here's some memes that President Trump dropped last night on Truth Social. Okay. And then at 1 a.m., look at that right there.
I'm going to do it.
What a timeline.
It really is. Now, the media and, of course, leftists that have you believe that the United States is this imperialist nation and that this is something that is unique to us at this point in time. That's the playbook. The politician, what's the politician's name from Greenland? Tilly Martinuses?
I guess so.
Well, this person is going viral for the first time in the history of ever on social media for her comments about the United States, like we care.
Be rich like the Americans are. See how greedy they are. They're even trying to shoot their friends or invade their friends just for greed. And we know that there's minerals and oils possibly in our underground, and that's worth so much more even than that. But even if we didn't have that, we would still not be
Eskimo with lip fillers.
So everyone here knows about the Inuit in Alaska and all of the native tribes, Indians, American Indians who are there. Their land was taken from them, and they haven't been treated that well in America.
We'll give you casinos.
And we know that Trump is very much surrounding himself, at least with the white power people. And we are not white, as you can see.
Marco Rubio.
We are of color. And so we know our rights probably would be taken away.
So a couple of things there. Did she just say that the Alaskan natives, that America took their land from them? Is that what she said?
Yes.
The natives.
Yeah, the natives. Yeah. She's aware that it was a land purchase from Russia, right? You guys want to take your chance with the Russians?
Yeah, and which other properties is she talking about? Is she talking about California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas?
This is one of those things where they act like we're uniquely responsible. This goes back to this whole trope about us taking the land from Native Americans while completely ignoring that Native American tribes were taking them from other tribes in usually far more barbaric and cruel ways. Also, they try and paint this picture like Greenland is this peaceful country. Like we have this wonderful way of life that the United States wants to come in and disrupt. The suicide rate in Greenland is through the roof. It's 81 per 100,000. Like Japan would dream of that, to be clear. And that's the land of tiny plummeting bodies and suicide forests.
Jeez. What is, do we know ours?
Well, in Alaska, to give you an idea, because we wanted to compare apples to apples, a tundra wasteland, it's 27 per 100,000. It's not even close.
That's our worst state, too.
That's our worst state.
So that's Eskimo to Eskimo comparison right there. That's...
We say Inuit.
Oh, we say Inuit?
Not in this studio.
Japan's about 16.
I'm about to go visit the Inuit casino.
Think about that for a second.
It just works.
Hey, it's not working well, Greenland. Why? Because you're all killing yourselves. Like, your suicide rate, you're the trannies of the Alaskan tundra.
But we don't want them to be. We want them to be American.
Yes.
There's
a better way.
Do we?
Yeah, kind of.
Do we want them to be American?
Well,
like Puerto Rico.
Kind of.
You want them to be American?
I don't want them to be American.
No, I want them to be like Puerto Rico.
Alberta, maybe. But I will say this. Do you guys know how Denmark came to be sort of in charge of Greenland? Like, has anyone gone through this history? We're just going to ignore all of that. I don't know if you know this, but like the Danes, they don't look like the Eskimos of Greenland. There was a period of time where there was a change. Did you know that? Yeah. Well, let me bring you back to the year 985, right? This is Eric the Red. You're familiar? Yeah. Greenland was discovered, colonized by this Norse Viking, Eric the Red. You're probably quite familiar with him. And just because there wasn't like a ton of bloody battles or war, that's just because there were so few people, they didn't even know that he was there yet. And the Nordics pretty much just said like, you know that you're ours now? And they were like, all right.
And to be fair, if he came across him, it probably didn't go well because his dad got kicked out of Norway for killing somebody, and then he got kicked out of Iceland for killing multiple people.
Right.
So not a super good guy.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were coming in peace, to be clear. Then there was the 1814 Treaty of Kiel, where this was during the kind of the Napoleonic Wars. Denmark agreed to sort of cede Norway to Sweden. And I'm not going to lie to you, I am not a historian on this because it's pretty much all the same to me. That area of the world. It's very homogenous, and I understand there's a difference between Nordic and Scandinavian, and I get that the Swedes would be really mad if you compared them to the Norwegians, but you know what the point is, we really don't care.
Hey, we're not all the same.
Yeah, we're not the same. We're the ones we do thin
different
pancakes, and they eat fish soup. Whatever.
Who cares, dude?
We need it for a matter of national security. So Denmark
Is this big?
Yeah, they retained control of Greenland, which was a Norwegian territory. And let's go through, actually, this idea that the United States would be far worse as far as rulers of Greenland. And I know that this sort of comes from this idea that socialism is by default good because they get free health care, they get paid paternity, maternity leave for 8 years or whatever the hell it is in these Scandinavian countries. So they think like, yeah, these people actually want these social safety benefits.
It's this big.
And they've been treated well by Denmark. It's actually a really awful history. I know you don't often think, when you think of colonizers, you may think of the British, you may think of the French, you may think of the Portuguese, the Spanish. In some cases, actually, the Belgians were really bad.
Yeah.
You may want to look into the history of Denmark and Greenland a little bit before you start shouting foul at the United States. And by the way, we're going to continue with this. We have some more clips. We have some more facts here on the history of Greenland. But you do have to join Rumble Premium. Click that button right there below. $99 a year or $99 a month. You get everything ad-free, 100% more show, all of the content that you see. This brings me to key fact number 2. In the 1950s, Denmark forcibly removed 20 children from their homes in Greenland. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's like 30% of their population. And the goal was to sort of foster an elite to govern Greenland. It didn't work. In the 1950s and 1960s, the Danish government forcibly relocated coastal Greenlanders into cities. This was aimed at consolidating the population.
They ghettoized them.
Yes.
Yes.
15-minute cities.
Which, by the way, if you know about, like, the worst group of people to ghettoize are Eskimos.
I didn't know that.
They don't do very well in large cities because they're technologically very, very rudimentary, and they're drunks.
Only 2 to an igloo.
That's right. Hey, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Keep both feet on the ground. That's a dad with dating teenage Eskimo daughter.
Okay.
No Eskimo kisses till you're married. Noses at opposite ends of the room. And here's something else. In the 1960s, while they were relocating people, they were ghettoizing them, Danish doctors forcibly sterilized more than 4,500 Greenlandic women.
Henrietta Bertelsen was forced to learn Danish in school, as well as to submit to Danish doctors. One of them did something to her that haunts her to this day. When she was just 13 years old, all of the girls in her class were told to report to the public health officer.
We were to be fitted with IUDs. Some of the girls were already crying in the waiting room. We were so young and had never had anything to do with boys. The IUDs they inserted were big, actually intended for adult women. I remember the terrible pain, and that none of the grown-ups paid any attention to me.
Yeah, that would seem pretty bad because it is. But it's also in line with leftist European socialist sort of ideas and policies. And here's the thing. People say, well, these people have a really peaceful life. Their suicide rate does not reflect that. Yeah, but look at all these things. They have free healthcare that they don't have, for example, or they wouldn't have in the United States. Well, up until recently, before they were a conquered people through entitlements, and by the way, people can become a conquered people through entitlements, they really didn't like a lot of their rulers because of the infringements of their freedoms. The priorities have just shifted, which brings us to key fact number 3 here. Greenland was actually going to be an EU member state, but they left in 1985 not just because they were being taken out of the coastal cities and put into ghettos, not because they had been forcibly sterilized, not because daughters had been taken from their families, but because European Union fisheries and their policies, they would have deprived Greenland of really the right to manage their own fishing, which is 90% of their exports. So back when they actually wanted to be commanders of their own destiny, they weren't big fans of this. They didn't really have a say in it. There was just some guy in a funny red beard who showed up and was jacked for the time contextually, and there was nothing they could do about it. Now that someone is willing to come in and say, hey, you know what, we actually need to do this a better way, and it's kind of important to us, Europe is throwing a fit. They don't want to face their own evils. And you can apply this, by the way, to slavery. You can apply this, by the way, to atrocities committed, I don't know if you know this, even throughout the 20th century. Europe hasn't gotten it right. I don't know if you know, a lot of people died. There's a lot of stuff going on in Europe that you wouldn't necessarily see as virtuous. But now they want to tell Americans, the people who've come to the rescue, that you actually don't have a say in what goes on over here. You can't colonize them because we've done it. It's okay for us. It's not okay for you. They don't else ever think about this when they go, yeah, well, tell us, you Americans, you're on stolen land, what you did to the Native Americans. What land did we flee? And how did you come to procure it? Why is the United States always declared guilty for... Yeah, sure, you could say colonized, but the big difference is we came here and we actually traded, and that's why there are more people who are 1/16 Cherokee than ever before, because they actually intermarried, and of course...
They have their own reserves, unlike other countries. They don't have their own reserves.
Yeah.
But they make their own laws, and they're allowed to govern their own people.
Right.
It's a lot different. The Supreme Court just gave the Cherokee half of the state of Oklahoma.
Right.
Like 4 or 5 years ago.
Do you know when Europe stopped colonizing? Do you know when it really stopped? When America became powerful enough that it was a non-issue. They're like, oh,
after World War I, basically.
We're going to basically stop this. If we didn't exist, they'd still be doing it.
If they were powerful enough to do it, they would be doing it.
Of course they would be doing it. And theirs, unlike here in the United, came with no freedom, to be clear. So if you're going to compare, let's just say it's a wash, both in one form or another. You know, you could take the British Empire, the French, whatever, colonize. Well, one comes with more rights than before you were colonized. One comes with less. And why do we care what Europeans have to say? And I'm not saying we should put boots on the ground and conquer Greenland, but this dialogue being spurred right now, it's a good thing. We do actually need to have a say in Greenland, because not only is our protection of Greenland being completely taken for granted, but Europe is becoming fundamentally untrustworthy. They're untrustworthy in a multitude of ways. They're untrustworthy because they don't keep up their end of the bargain in their military spending. They're untrustworthy because they're not able to protect not only the free world, but really their world as they know it. They don't follow through on the threats that they make. They are untrustworthy because they jail their people for speaking out against the government, for example. And they're untrustworthy because they claim to be our friends when they don't act like friends. For more proof, you can also see Canada, that I know is not a part of Europe, but it's a silly place that still has the Queen on its fucking money. So here's what Trump laid out actually on Truth. He wrote, "Shockingly, our brilliant, in quotes, NATO ally, the United Kingdom, is currently planning to give away the island of Diego Garcia, the site of a vital U.S. military base, to Mauritius, and to do so for no reason whatsoever. There is no doubt that China and Russia have noticed this act of total weakness. That's what it is. The UK is giving away extremely important land, is an act of great stupidity, and is another in a very long line of national security reasons why Greenland has to be acquired. Denmark and its European allies have to do the right thing, caps." That's also not the most important reason we need Greenland. Put that on the list.
Swing.
Let me give you some context.
Come on.
We all know how Lane's going to feel about that because there's a slight Asian tinge.
There's also a slight man tinge.
Yes, there is a little bit of that. To put it in context, what was the total number of troops sent by Europe yesterday? I think it was like 35, something like that?
Yeah.
Total? Okay.
Single digits from some of them.
Yeah. This conversation is only taking place because we are benevolent. Let me make the case. The least populated state in our union is Wyoming. Okay? Their National Guard is 1,500 servicemen. So Wyoming could literally kick Greenland's ass in a war, including all the European troops there right now. And then, making millions of dollars, Taylor Sheridan would no doubt create a show around it. Working titles were, I believe, Greenstone, Greenland Man, but they finally settled on 1880 Greenland.
Out here, the edge of the known world, the land don't forgive and it sure as shit don't forget. It's 1880 Greenland, even though it ain't on any map that matters. Ice stands where towns ought to be. Wind howls like a bad reputation. Noble horses are replaced with dog teams. 6 guns replaced with harpoons, and the law is written in f***ing frost and bone. Stepping over these dead Eskimo bodies. Every step is a gamble. Every winter's a showdown. This is a frontier without mercy. And survival is the only badge worth wearing when the icy winds blow over you like a cruel mistress, using you for your body. And the sun has whiskey dick.
Signing up for Paramount Plus right now.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I'm in it. But one thing that I think is kind of going underappreciated here is there's a lot of European countries catching strays here because this is really being spearheaded by what you would call the liberal Northwestern countries like the Scandinavians and the Germans and the British. The Eastern Europeans like the Polish and the Hungarians and even the Southern Europeans like the Spanish and the Italians don't care at all because what are they going to do? Get rid of the United States as their key ally so they can defend a piece of ice that has no strategic importance to them? This is not a unified Europe, and they're trying to push this narrative that it is, and it's just completely unfounded. And I think Trump knows that he can kind of work those the faults that are existing between these countries. So I think we will get Greenland.
They are trying to press that unified thing. I saw multiple people online saying this is the most unified Europe's ever been.
It's the most unified, like 4 countries that are rich and liberal in the Northwest have ever been.
I'm surprised a guy who's so skilled in negotiation doesn't talk more about acquiring, purchasing, and not taking over. You know, that's what's pissing people off.
Yeah, people don't want to be took over.
Yeah,
I guess they want to be bought.
You say Europe is unified.
Uh-oh.
I guess we better sit down and have a conversation about what that looks like. Because the real question is how many godforsaken faggots can you fit in a room? Scandinavian countries, Nordics, as you refer to them. I don't know the difference. I wouldn't know the difference between a Swede, Norwegian, Icelandic, or a Dane. The only smargy-bargy-fergy fucking chef dialogue I want to hear is coming from my 45. Laying the brain.
That sounds good to me. I agree.
He's fired up over there.
I'm pretty pumped.
Lane couldn't think on his feet.
Lane's going to go buy a pack of Marlboros.
Commonly referred to what you might call a ginger. It's a recessive gene, an abomination, an affront to our almighty creator. They have no souls, and so he has no thoughts. Your thoughts, Lane?
I feel like I'm being pulled in a lot of directions. Sam Elliott's, I'm getting, it's like they say, don't meet your heroes.
Be about the first time you ever been pulled. Because one thing you see about Lane here is he's never felt the warm embrace of a lady. They see Lane for all his traps, biceps, abdominal muscles. There's not enough in the world to remind that lady that he's anything other than a ghost. A figment of a bygone era, long lost. when we tolerated those who were genetically inferior. The complete lack of pigment, which is why he has to drive himself into the arms of the unholy alliance of pan-Pacific race, the Asians, whose cruelty know no bounds. Have that right, Lee? Approximately?
That's pretty much right. They do a lot less than white women, though, so it's not a loss all the way around.
See, that was the moment that Lane realized he wasn't man enough. Didn't have the spine enough to handle a woman who could speak her mind. Oh, yes, sir, no, sir, me so honey. It was...
No.
It's a new style. I have a mustache on my lower lip.
What you chewing on there, Sam?
I know what you hipsters are thinking. It's a new style choice. Well, you can talk about that while you sip your fucking macchiatos on your penny farthing bicycles. Remember old Sam did it before it was cool. Someone get me off this godforsaken camera.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. That's pretty much Landman. You just summed it up. That's the whole show. Can you do a Billy Bob Thornton?
I can work on it, but right now I'm still, my mind is somewhere else.
Right. Greenland.
Yes.
You know what's funny about Greenland? Can anyone name a city?
Nuke.
No, that was the drug in RoboCop 3.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure it's the capital, too. I think it's the only city.
How's it spelled?
No, that's the place that sells really bad pizzas.
No, that's what we do to it if they keep screwing around.
What's the Greenland-Iceland switcheroo? What was
So
that?
it is
Sleight of
true.
hand?
Eric the Red, right? He did call it Greenland because he wanted people to. He didn't want them to be scared off. I don't know if the Iceland thing is true, where they wanted to scare people away from Iceland. Because I will tell you that my knowledge of the difference or the contrast between Iceland and Greenland is primarily based on D2, the Mighty Ducks sequel.
Dude, I was gonna say that. The only thing I know is that Iceland won and
No,
Greenland didn't win nothing.
Like the Vikings saw some ice and they're like, Iceland, okay. And that was the end of it.
That was the end of it. But Greenland, they were like,
is.
we have to change the name or no one will come here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So they were liars.
They were lying. There might be some Greenland. I've never been.
And nobody went, by the way.
Yeah.
56,000 people. Nobody went.
Well, I think the Norwegians were there, like in their little colonies for a while, and they kind of pieced out because it sucked.
Imagine trying to communicate with the outside world from Greenland at that point in time.
I think that's the place where the movie Klaus is based.
It's based in Greenland?
It must be.
I honestly have no idea, but they couldn't have sent like a carrier pigeon.
The Starlink, maybe? I don't know.
They wouldn't have been able to send anything. They would have actually had to make the trek and boat and
they'd have to wait till summer, right? Spring, summer?
Yeah.
I imagine waters are pretty icy.
I think it was Eric's son that was the first person in North America, too. I think Leaf, whatever. I think that was his.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know this,
Leaf. Who? Eric's son?
Yeah.
Well, Lane, as a fellow ginger, reminds Stephen that Eric the Red probably had a shade, I'm thinking, of red.
Very red.
That whole, yes.
When I'm picturing
all
him,
those conquerors did, so.
Every time I read about him, I just picture Yukon Cornelius.
Yeah, exactly.
I assume that's who it was.
Right. Yeah.
With harpoons.
Just killing people instead. And the Vikings, by the way, were scared off by Native Americans. A lot of people don't realize like that. The Native Americans they fought with Vikings here. And the Vikings were like, screw this, we'll go somewhere else where people aren't savages. And these were people who had no problem waging wars, And they were like,
they loved it.
They were like, what? They're cutting off the scalps? That's fucking up.
Get back to the boat.
Norwegians sound like Swede. I don't even know what.
It doesn't.
They sort of sound like it's a little bit just sort of staccato is the way they'll kind of talk like that because that's their language.
Like Elon.
But
a little bit.
Swedes, though, it's almost, you can't discern an accent. It's like less than American regions. It's so good.
Yeah, they do speak English pretty well.
It's amazing.
I've got to imagine your level of, sort of how adept you are in English probably correlates with how useless your language is outside of your relatively small country.
Dying language.
Like
Excellent.
Spanish people, they can go a lot of places and get away
Spanish,
without learning English. The Swedes, Not so much. Once you get out of Sweden, you better be bringing something else to the table. So might as well be English.
Or a good body.
That's true. That's true.
Well, who planted all the gorgeous women and strongest men on earth in Iceland? That had to be that had to be purposeful.
I mean, I think it's just because it's a limited population when they get there. And at that point, they're not so concerned with decorum, where if you're ugly, you're just being pushed off the iceberg. That's what I think happens there.
Did they play King of the Iceberg? They probably did.
They probably did. Well, there's also gigantism, like the giant squid and all those colossal animals of the sea. They live in the depths where it's really cold. So I guess the same applies to people. Those cold shock proteins, just breed scarily large people.
And speaking of gigantic, you watched the Troll movie, right?
The first one, yeah. I've heard the second one is terrible.
It's not much worse than the first one.
No, neither one is very good. But so I mean, that's what they bring to the table. Strong men. That's about it.
They look pretty strong in D2, the Mighty Ducks.
They did.
They were men. Those were men playing against boys.
Yeah, they had facial hair.
And a girl. They did.
Yeah, they did have facial hair. I wonder what they thought about
their jerseys were black.
Their jerseys were black. And we had a black guy.
And we had a black guy. That's right. And he knuckle pucked him.
Yeah.
And I think Goldberg's a drug addict now.
Is he?
Well, he was at one point.
That's like half of those people.
Whether he was or is, the fact is he was always Jewish.
That was, It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, well.
It's like the middle sister in Full House. She ended up becoming addicted to heroin or stuff. Huge set.
Yeah.
Jodie Sweden, is that her name?
Yeah, Sweden, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's out. She was
the
out
only thing you see
recently.
Really?
Yeah, it was last year sometime she was out protesting, doing some stuff.
Oh, okay.
People were like, hey, it's you from Full House. She's like, hey, can I have $1?
Mm-hmm. And they're like, show us your puppies. And she's like, okay.
Show us the sweet puppies.
That's how I think it works. Did we have anything breaking while we were here? I saw that Macron looked like he'd been up all night having Coke parties.
Macron's bitching about Trump at Davos, but there was a truth that came out where Trump is whining more about NATO. Not whining, I mean, valid arguments. He said, you go ahead, Nick, you want to read it?
Let me see. Okay, you want me to? No single person or president has done more for NATO than President Donald J. Trump. That's me. If I didn't come along, there would be no NATO right now. It would have been in the ash heap of history. Sad. Very sad, but true. President DJT.
Well, I don't think that's true, but that's funny.
It's hard to argue.
I mean, ash heap, okay, irrelevant, sure. Yeah. Irrelevant, sure. And it's not just Donald Trump, because all the presidents before that, they just kind of played ball. I just don't understand how the United States is how anyone thinks they have a leg to stand on, accusing us of being the bad guy, when they signed a contract, didn't honor it for decades, and have continually asked us for billions upon billions of dollars to protect the rest of the world.
Is it because we didn't beg them? Is it because Trump came out and was like, hey, you have to do it?
You know what it is? It's because they know that we are not an empire. What? You think there would have been a NATO in the era of the British Empire or the Portuguese, where they would have signed an agreement and dared cross them? Of course not. It's because they know that we're benevolent. They know, hey, we now live in a time, guys, where the most powerful nation on earth, to a degree that's largely unseen, actually isn't taking over all our shit. And so we signed a contract, and they're actually not going to kill us if we don't honor it.
And we actually help them out.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
And he's incredibly right, though, about the way that NATO behaves vis-a-vis us, because we have these global interests that they have no interest in helping us towards.
Right.
Which is why the British, under some sense of false morality, will give back Diego Garcia to Mauritius, which Mauritius every day gets closer to China. They're signing free trade agreements, cultural agreements. And in the meantime, when we're having the biggest geopolitical struggle of the United States history against China, Britain's like, here's a very strategic asset, China, that you can have.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of an ally if they treat you like that?
Yeah. Or Canada.
Yeah.
Same thing with Canada. That's why I say we might want to actually do sort of brackets and go through the way the world sort of shakes out. I mean, if Alberta separates, let's say we knock Cuba around a little bit, where we actually give it back to its people. All right, now we have some very different partners. We have much more access to energy with Venezuela, Alberta, and of course, Cuba would be strategically pretty important militarily. I'm still amazed that we allow anything surrounding our coasts to be controlled by a communist government when they would have no way to keep it. That changes a whole lot. And if that happens, and it's very successful and it's bountiful, I bet you'd see Saskatchewan, and then basically Alberta all the way up, you end up connecting the United States straight through Alaska. That is something that could happen in our lifetime if people grow a spine. I think a lot of people think we're sort of past this period of Balkanization. I mean, even if you just look at like Yugoslavia, Serbia, what happened to Croatia, like these things happened in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And in some cases for far less than Alberta would be able to list as far as their grievances with Canada. So why wouldn't we take advantage of that? If our choice is we'll keep doing it the way we're doing it with Canada, or try and encourage the map to change where people will have more control over their own destiny. They'll actually be more represented while they're being taxed. And that's a good thing. I don't know why we play ball.
What's the status on the signatures to lead to the referendum? It's getting pretty close.
I think it is getting pretty close.
Yeah. I wonder if someone could check on that.
Gotta look.
Yeah. As I understand it was pretty close. Last I checked, they have to do the signatures, then get it to a referendum vote.
What do you think the referendum looks like? Is it?
It's one of those kind of, it's a toss up. You know, it's always tough with a country that has a largely conquered people.
Well, Quebec set a standard now for that, so that you can't argue. Well, you can't break away. You don't have sovereignty. Well, you let Quebec do a referendum twice. So,
and it was close.
Yep. Very.
So, all right. Unless there's something else.
Right now, they have 4 months to gather the remaining 178,000 signatures. I'm trying to see what they're at right now, but that seems like a very doable thing.
Was
we
the
could
threshold
do that in our
400,000?
suburb that we're sitting in right now, but in a province like that, it's a little tougher. I think they'll get to it.
Yeah, I think they'll probably get to it.
What's the population of Alberta? It's a few million, right?
I mean, what are cities are
Calgary
there?
and
Edmonton? Oh, Edmonton and Calgary.
You're right, Stephen. 400,000.
Was the signatures what it has to meet? So that means they're under 300,000. They're closer to 200,000 right now.
They're over 200,000 right now.
And what's
They're
their
over,
population?
Alberta's population?
Yeah.
It's probably a couple million.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so less than 10% has to say, let's go to vote. So it's probably split.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. YouTube's is something you're not allowed to say according to the guidelines. I was quoting the guidelines. I'm glad you're still here. It means you watched this video all the way through. Oh, it says here that Rumble, where you can go follow my channel, lets you say pretty much anything, provided it's not illegal. That reminds me of, what does it remind me of? Oh, yeah. YouTube, pre-2015. Go on and follow me there. I'm live, 11 a.m. Eastern, weekdays. Don't call YouTube a. Oh, it's just a different way of saying it's.